हम्म, हम्म, हाँ, आकाश, क्या हाल है आकाश? बोलो जल्दी से। हाय सर, क्या हाल है? कहाँ पे हो तू लोग जी? छठ मना लिए? क्या जी? जल्दी जुड़ो सब लोग। आ आकाश, छठ मान लिए जी? तुम्हारा मोबाइल स्विच ऑफ चल रहा था, फोन किया कि वो नहीं रहा था, लग नहीं रहा था। तो चलो। हम्म तब बताओ क्या चल रहा है इस समय? तो चलिए सब लोग तैयार हो जाएं, अपना अपना किताब उठा लें। और इसमें आज हम लोग उत्तर प्रदेश का जो दृष्टि उत्तर प्रदेश करंट अफेयर्स जो है, इसमें कुछ पॉइंट दिए हुए हैं, स्पेशल सप्लीमेंट भी दिए। यूपीपीएससी मेंस जीएस फोर्थ पेपर जो है, इसका मॉडल ऐसा कुछ दिया है। इसके अलावा जो करंट अफेयर कंपाइलेशन दिया है, जीके पॉइंटर दिया है यूपीएससी और कुछ इंटरव्यू के पॉइंट भी दिए, वो उसको भी देखना है। हाँ सब ठीक है। हाँ खाना खा लिए हैं, खाना बहुत जल्दी खा लिए। ठीक है, बैठो बैठना, बैठो आप। तो सब लोग खाना खा लिए। छठ छठ मनाओ, कहाँ मनाओ छठ? आज सुबह आएंगे हम लोग छठ में। बैठो। मुझे बस ठीक है। बोलो रघुवीर। आ देखो बताओ जल्दी से, सब लोग जुड़ो। इधर खसक जाओ। सब लोग जुड़ो। कितने लोग जुड़े हैं? सब लोग जुड़े? पढ़ाई चल रहा है सब? तो देखिए इसमें हम लोग अब क्या करना, सभी लोग कुछ 4 लोग जो क्यों जुड़े हैं, 4 लोग बस लाइक सब्सक्राइब करते रहिए, आगे बढ़ाते रहें चैनल को। तो चलिए बिना देरी किए बात किया जाए इसमें ना, करंट अफेयर्स ऑफ नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस के बारे में पढ़ना है, नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस के बारे में। तो पॉलिटी एंड गवर्नेंस के बारे में आप भी पढ़ेंगे अभी। हाँ सब लोग जुड़े हैं, अपना क्वेश्चन तैयार रखें भी, और अंत में हम लोग क्वेश्चन को डिस्कस किया जाएगा।
खाना खा लिए सब?
हाँ खाना खा लिए हैं, खाना खा लिए सब। सब लोग खा लिए खाना इस समय? व्रत नहीं ना हो आकाश? चलो ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा लड़का है, बात कहते मान लेता है। तो इम्पीचमेंट पॉलिटिक ऑर्डिनेंस में है, इम्पीचमेंट ऑफ जज इन इंडिया। देखिए ये जो क्लास जो है बस केवल पढ़ने वाला है, अपना जो पढ़िए, जो क्वेश्चंस नहीं आते हैं वो आपस में डिस्कस करके पूछिए। तो दिया है ओवर 100 MPs हैव द साइंड अ नोटिस, ठीक है, and seeking that impeachment of Justice Aswant Verma after burnt currency was found at the home in March 2025. He has challenged the findings in the Supreme Court's. Next, the Chief Justice of India, Sanjeev Khanna, recommended Justice Verma removal, however, that judge refused to resign, promoting formal proceedings. Through the Constitution doesn't use the word of impeachments for judge. It allows the removal on the grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity under the Article 124(4) for Supreme Court and Articles 218 for the High Court judges. सभी लोग अपना जुड़ करके पढ़ाई करें, बस कोई 1 घंटा आपको 40-45 मिनट पढ़ना, उसके बाद हम लोग क्वेश्चन पे बात करेंगे। अपना अपना क्वेश्चन तैयार रखिएगा। जो क्वेश्चन अगर इसमें ग्रुप में डाल सकते हैं, कोई भी क्वेश्चन, एनी वन क्वेश्चन टू आस्क मी, कोई भी क्वेश्चन हो, किसी प्रकार का क्वेश्चन हो, लेकिन डेरिवेशन मत पूछेंगे। डेरिवेशन चाहे आपका जो न्यूमेरिकल क्वेश्चंस होते हैं वो मत पूछिए, क्योंकि यहाँ पर नहीं बताया जा सकता है। बाकी जितने भी वन लाइनर क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, चाहे फिजिक्स का हो, चाहे केमिस्ट्री, चाहे बायोलॉजी का, चाहे करंट अफेयर्स के हैं, चाहे किसी भी हो, तो उसमें आप हम लोग क्या करेंगे, बात करेंगे। अब क्वेश्चन डालेंगे तो कोई ना कोई बता ही देंगे, ठीक है। द जज इंक्वायरी एक्ट 1968, ये तो हमको याद रखना है। देखिए यहाँ पर दो चीज दिया है, आर्टिकल 124(4) दिया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड आर्टिकल 218 फॉर द हाई कोर्ट्स, वही चीज दिया है। डजंट यूज द वर्ड ऑफ इम्पीचमेंट फॉर जज, ठीक है। द जज इंक्वायरी एक्ट 1968 गवर्न्स द प्रोसेस ऑफ मोशन विद सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द 100 लोकसभा और 50 राज्यसभा। कितने? 100 लोकसभा एंड 50 राज्यसभा। Followed by the 3 members inquiry committee reports, 3 members inquiry committee reports, ये हमको याद रखना है। If a misconduct is proven, both the houses must pass removal motion in the same session of the special majority. Final review requires the presidential assent. Past cases include Justice B. Ramaswamy, ये B. Ramaswamy 1993, whose motion failed in Lok Sabha, and Justice Soumitra Sen 2011, who resigned after Rajya Sabha passed the motion. Second topic क्या है? मिड टर्म रिजिग्नेशन ऑफ द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया। वाइस प्रेसिडेंट इंडिया जो थे वो जगदीप धनखड़ रिजाइन अंडर द आर्टिकल 67A, इसको याद रखना। कौन सा रिजाइन अंडर किस आर्टिकल में है? 67A में है। बाय सबमिटिंग हिज रिजिग्नेशन ऑफ टू द प्रेसिडेंट द्रौपदी मुर्मू। प्रेसिडेंट जानते हैं कौन है? द्रौपदी मुर्मू। ही इज अ थर्ड इन इंडियन हिस्ट्री टू डू सो मिड टर्म्स। ये तीसरे जो भारतीय हैं जो इतिहास में जो ऐसा किए हैं, जो बीच में अपने पद को छोड़ दिए थे। As per Article 67A, the resignation takes effect immediately upon the submission. Due the Vice President absents the Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha and presides over its session. The Election Commission must be conduct a new election as soon as possible under the 1951 Election Acts. तो 1952 में कौन सा एक्ट आया था? 1952 में इलेक्शन एक्ट। However, fixed timeline is mandated for the Vice President post. समझ ना? The newly elected vice president serve as full 5-year terms regardless the predecessor remaining the tenures. Key constitutional provision. Article 63 establish the vice president's office. Article 66, देखिए बता दी, ये केवल पढ़ने वाला क्लास है, इसमें कुछ सोचना नहीं है। आप अपना किताब निकाल के पढ़िए, जो चीजें नहीं समझ में आ रही है वो पूछेंगे। बाकी तो अभी जब डिजिटल बोर्ड लग जाएगा पूरी तरह से तो पीडीएफ के माध्यम से सब कुछ देखेंगे। एंड आर्टिकल 63 क्या है? देखिए कुछ की कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन दिए हुए हैं। आर्टिकल 63 में क्या बताया गया है? एस्टेब्लिश द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफिस, ठीक है। आर्टिकल 66 में इलेक्शन बाय एमपीज बोथ द हाउसेस थ्रू द प्रोपोर्शनल रिप्रेजेंटेशन। आदर्श सिंह बताइए जल्दी से, कैसे पढ़ाई लिखाई चल रहा है? And the proportional representation, Article 64 ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha। 65 में क्या? ex president vacancy और absence। and Article 68 list causes for vacancy। Article 69 oath of the office। तो कहाँ से 63, 66, 64, 65, 68, 69 oath of office। एलिजिबिलिटी क्या है? इंडियन सिटीजन्स 35+ years, राज्यसभा qualified, no office of profit and not be sitting of MP of MLA। ये एलिजिबिलिटी है। अच्छा, पढ़ाई लिखाई बंद है, ठीक है। छठ में गए थे क्या? पढ़ाई लिखाई बंद है, कैसे काम चलने वाला है? पढ़ाई लिखाई नहीं हो रहा है तो कैसे काम चल रहा है? सब लोग पढ़ रहे हैं। जोनल काउंसिल से, जोनल काउंसिल सब गायब हो जाते हैं। कभी को 30-30, 40 लोग आते हैं, कभी कभी 2 ही 3 लोग आते हैं। हाँ, देखिए कोई भी काम करते हैं उसमें रेगुलरिटी होनी चाहिए, रेगुलरिटी होनी चाहिए और अपना एक एम्स होना चाहिए, उसके हिसाब से काम करें। Jonas Council, the Union Home Minister and Minister of the Cooperation chaired the 25 Central Zonal Council, इसके याद रखेंगे। कौन कौन है? यूनियन होम मिनिस्टर एंड मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेशन। 25वां जो सेंट्रल जोनल काउंसिल है मीटिंग इन द वाराणसी, कहां पर? वाराणसी में। उत्तर प्रदेश ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बाय द इंटर स्टेट काउंसिल सेक्रेटरिएट इन कोलैबोरेशन विद द उत्तर प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट। अबाउट जोनल काउंसिल्स, they are statutory advisory bodies formed under the States of Reorganization Act 1956। तो ये ध्यान देंगे, जो स्टेट्स रिऑर्गेनाइजेशन एक्ट कब आया था? 1956 में आया था। एंड इंटेंडेड द इनहेंस कोऑपरेशन अमॉन्ग स्टेट्स बिटवीन द सेंटर एंड स्टेट्स, ये है, ठीक है। हम बोले हैं सब लोग अपना पढ़ाई करें और देखते रहें, देखिए कौन सा क्वेश्चन नहीं समझ में आता है, चाहे फिजिक्स हो गया, चाहे केमिस्ट्री का हो गया, चाहे बायोलॉजी का हो गया, चाहे आपका हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी का, वो मेंशन करें। तो भाई इतने लोग जुड़ते हैं आपस में, कोई ना कोई बताइए करेगा। नहीं बताएगा तो हम तो बताइए करेंगे। तो आपस देखिए, आप एक क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं ना तो मैं उसमें कब चीज 4 5 10 क्वेश्चन खोज लेते हैं, इससे फायदा होता है। हम कहाँ कहाँ खोजेंगे? जैसे मान लीजिए आपको हो सकता ना आए, हो सकता ना आ रहा, तो हमको भी तो हो सकता ना है, तो उसमें हम क्या करें, अपना सर्च कर लेते हैं, देख लेते हैं, खोज के बता देते हैं, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पर देखिए दिया है कि 90 नेहरूज proposed by the Jawaharlal Nehru in 1950 during the discussion of the State Reorganization Commission। जैसे उसमें जो रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन कमीशन आया था वो फजल अली कमीशन था 1953 रिपोर्ट के अनुसार। अंडर द सेक्शन 50 टू 15 टू 22 द 1956 एक्ट 5 जोनल काउंसिल। तो 15 से 22 जो था 1956 का जो एक्ट था उसमें 5 जोनल काउंसिल बनाया गया था। एडिशनली द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न काउंसिल, जिसमें कौन था? नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न काउंसिल था। डिस्टिंक्ट फ्रॉम द 5 वाज सेट अप द 1972 अंडर द नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न काउंसिल एक्ट 1972। और 1972 में नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न काउंसिल एक्ट आया था। तो देखिए इसमें बहुत सारे क्या है ना क्वेश्चन बनेंगे, तो अपने हिसाब से हम अपनी तैयारी कर रहे हैं, आप भी अपना तैयारी क्या है करते रहे। देखिए क्वेश्चन कोई पूछ नहीं रहे हैं, वो कहाँ आकाश का है? आकाश क्वेश्चन क्यों नहीं पूछते बाबू? आकाश गायब हो गया। सब गायब है, सब इसमें थकावट हो जा रहा है सबका। कंपोजिशन क्या है? नॉर्थर्न जोनल काउंसिल। देखिए नॉर्थर्न जोनल काउंसिल में कौन कौन आता है? हरियाणा आता है, हिमाचल प्रदेश, जम्मू कश्मीर, पंजाब, राजस्थान, दिल्ली, चंडीगढ़। सेंट्रल जोनल काउंसिल में कौन आता है? उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ एंड उत्तराखंड। तो देखिए नॉर्थर्न में आ गया, सेंट्रल में आ गया। हम लोग किसमें? उत्तर प्रदेश के हम लोग रहने वाले हैं, तो उत्तर प्रदेश किसमें आता है? सेंट्रल जोनल काउंसिल में आता है। तो कौन कौन है? उत्तर प्रदेश, मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ और उत्तराखंड, ये तो नहीं आते हैं। ईस्टर्न जोनल काउंसिल में कौन आता है? तो ईस्टर्न देखिए बिहार आता है, झारखंड, उड़ीसा, वेस्ट बंगाल एंड सिक्किम आता है। वेस्टर्न जोनल काउंसिल में राजस्थान, गुजरात, महाराष्ट्र, गोवा, दादर नगर हवेली एंड दमन दीव आता है, ठीक है। और साउथर्न जोनल काउंसिल में आंध्र प्रदेश, कर्नाटका, केरला, तमिलनाडु एंड पुडुचेरी। प्रमोटिंग द फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी इन इंडिया। अगला जो टॉपिक है इसमें करंट अफेयर्स का, ये आपका सितंबर महीने का जो करंट अफेयर्स है, इसके साल में अपना देखिए सब लोग अपना ही तैयारी करिए इसमें, और 1 घंटे तो पढ़ाई करिए। India's higher education sector is undergoing the transformative shift with the entry of foreign universities supported by the National Education Policy NEP 2020 बहुत बार आज, and UGC FHEI Regulation 2023। This development presents both significant opportunity and complex challenges. India is also expanding abroad scene with the IIT Madras in Zanzibar and IIT Delhi in Abu Dhabi। तो ये क्या दिया मैं? India is expanding abroad scene with the IIT Madras in Zanzibar, and IIT Delhi in Abu Dhabi. Drivers of foreign university entry, over 50% of Indians are under the 30 low gross involvement ratio GER। देखिए लो ग्रॉस GER का जो फुल फॉर्म होता है लो ग्रॉस enrollment ratio GER, and rising the aspiration make in India prime education market. University in the UK, Australia, and Canada seek the growth in India due to the stagnating and enrollment and visa restriction. Indian compasses help the foreign universities reduce the cost, diversify incomes, and enhance the global presence. Next, collaboration. Deccan IM Bangalore, Deakin IM Bangalore allow the quicker, lower cost entry the using the existing infrastructure. Benefit for India. Affordable global education, retention of talent and forex, academic improvement, skill development, strategic soft power, and global education hub potentials. Debate over the socialist and secular in the preamble. Debate over the socialist and secular in the preamble. Recently, the inclusion of the socialist and secular in that Indian Constitution as a preamble by the 42nd Constitution Amendment 1976, and a preamble by that 42 42nd Constitution Amendment 1976 as a state fresh debate with the critic question. It is a constitutional legitimacy and alignment with the Indian civilization values. हेलो सर, क्या हाल चाल है? Is Choman Rual is a Nigolian India? That is a 42nd amendment passed during the emergency in 1975 to 1976, added the socialists to endorse economic justice and secular to affirm state neutrality in the religious matters. Buildings on values already implicit. Article 40 to 16 and 25 to 28. Judicial rulings such as Keswanand Bharti case 1973, SR Bombay case 1994, and Minerva Mills 1980. So they are the three cases arises to be judicial rulings such as the Keswanand Bharti case 1973. And second is SR Bombay 1994 and Minerva Mills 19. Upheld the socialism and secularism. Socialism and secularism as a basic feature of the Constitution. The Supreme Court reaffirmed this stance. Dr. V. Balram Singh versus Union of India 2024. Stance in Dr. Balram Singh versus Union of India 2024. Opponents argue the terms were unnecessarily inserted during the time of democratic compromise, and they are represented Western ideologies, a conflict with the India's spiritual ethos and original constitutional vision. There is also the procedural concern with the critics insist that its preamble Southern should remain in chains as it was enormously developed in 1949 and reflect the Constitution's foundational consensus. Next topic is, देखिए ये जो क्लासेस जो हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, देख रहे हैं, आपस में पढ़ रहे हैं हम लोग, देखिए हम भी आप पढ़ रहे हैं, आप भी पढ़ाई करें, बस केवल क्या है कि इसे पढ़ना है, आपको अपने आप डेवलप करना है, क्योंकि आप भी हो सकता है तैयारी करते हो, हम भी तैयारी करते हैं. NCB ऑपरेशन MED मैक्स, अंडर द ऑपरेशन MED मैक्स, that is Narcotics Control Bureau NCB, Narcotics Control Bureau NCB, in a collaboration with the international partner, has successfully dismantled a transnational drug network spanning over the 10 countries across in Asia, North America, Europe, and Oceania. The NCB established in 1996 under the Narcotics, Drugs, and Psychotropic Substance NDPS Act 1985. NDPS Act 1985. Intelligence Agency headquartered in New Delhi, operate under Ministry of Home Affairs and work closely with the both central and state authorities, enforce drug-related laws and policies. India's national policy on the narcotics, drugs, and the psychotropic substance is grounded in Article 47 of the Indian Constitution, which calls for restricting drug use solely for medicinal purpose. The NCB plays a crucial role in the internal security and public health, particularly combating digital and cross-border drugs crimes. It also facilitates joint international operation who bodies like the US DEA and Interpol. Next topic. Supreme Court uphold the legislative authority of states. Recently, the Supreme Court in the Nandini Sundar versus the state of Chhattisgarh 2012 upheld the state's legislative power, ruling that Chhattisgarh new law did not violate the earlier 2011 the judgment against using the untrained tribal youth as a special police officer as anti-moist officers. It means name is Nandini Sundar versus the state of Chhattisgarh. Supreme Court in the Nandini Sundar versus state of Chhattisgarh 2012. 2011 the 2000 Supreme Court directive found the SPO deployment unconstitutional under the Article 40 equality before law. Article 14 में क्या है? Equality before law. And Article 21 the right to life. And however the Chhattisgarh later passed the Chhattisgarh Auxiliary Armed Police Force Act, creating the similar auxiliary force. The courts clarified that state legislature can enact law if they are constitutionally valid and can be override, and judicial interpretation by the removing the legal basic following precedents like the Indian Aluminium COV States of Kerala 1996. The case is rooted in the context of Salva Judum 2005 and the Goa commands which is the mobilized tribal youth. Mobilized tribal youth is a Chhattisgarh anti-Naxalite campaign and approach widely criticized by the rights violation and excessive and militarization. Next topic is National Commission for Minorities. Recently, the National Commission for Minorities has remained non-functional since April 2025 due to absence of the chairperson and members rising concern about ability to the safeguard minority rights. Constitution of India does not define the minority but acknowledges religious and linguistic minorities. NCM Act 1992 ये हमको याद रखना है. NCM Act 1992 empowers the central government to notify minority communities. Initially, in 1993, the notification recognized Muslim, Christian, Sikh, Buddhist, and Parsi as minorities. In 2004, Jains were also added. NCM is a statutory body under the National Commission for Minorities Act 1992, operational since 17 May 1993. Originally established in 1978 under the Ministry of Home Affairs Regulation Letter, moved at Ministry of Welfare is 1984. सही है. Linguistic minorities were removed from the scope in 1988. Key constitutional safeguards for minorities include the Article 29, cultural and language rights. Article 30, minorities education institution rights. Article 347, language recognition states. Article 350 350A, education is a mother tongue. Article 350B, appointment of special officer for linguistic minorities. Legislative productivity in India. Next topic is legislative productivity in India. देखिए हम बता चुके हैं ये जो क्लास है केवल पढ़ने वाली क्लास है, रीडिंग करने वाली क्लास है. आप रील्स की बजाय जो है ये फेसबुक की बजाय जो आप पढ़ाई करें. देखिए पढ़ाई में बहुत चीजें हैं आपको, और जैसे मान लीजिए आपको किसी की तैयारी भी कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए फायदे तो भी होते हैं. तो देखिए ये हम लोग भी तैयारी करें, आप भी तैयारी करिए. इसमें देखिए जब ग्रुप में जुड़ करके पढ़ाई करेंगे तो आपको बोलने की जो स्पीड होगी वो बनेगी. Recently at the National Conference of Urban Local Bodies ULBs, the Lok Sabha Speaker addressed the improving both legislative productivity and the quality of the parliamentary discourse. Legislative productivity covers the parliament and state legislatures, performance in the law making, the executives, and oversight, budget approval, and public issue debates. In 2003, in 2023 budget session, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha function for only 33%. इसे याद रखें, सभा function for only 33%, 24% of the scheduled time, marking the sixth shortest budget session since the 1952. Though MP attendance averaged the 79%, the 17 Lok Sabha, individual MP engaged in only the 45 debates and the average, highlighting a low active participation. Frequent disruptions such as walkouts and the sloganeering continue to reduce the productive debates hours. The 15 Lok Sabha lost over 30% of scheduled time of such a disruption. Increasing the partisanship has a vacant parliamentary committee scrutiny and private members' bills remain the largely symbolic. Only the 14 have been the part since the independence, the last in 1917. The constituency mandated post of deputy speaker under the Article 93 was vacant throughout that 70 Lok Sabha, reflecting the institutional neglects. अब कुछ टॉपिक बचे हुए हैं इसमें दिया इंडिकेटर दिया हुआ है 70 लोकसभा 29 to 24 17वीं जो लोकसभा था 1924 में हुआ अर्लियर लोकसभा एनुअल सिटिंग डेज अबाउट 55 days per year and earlier Lok Sabha about 135 days a year, the first Lok Sabha. Bills referred to committee only 10% referred, 40 or 60%, 50 Lok Sabha 71% and 16 में 25%. Question hour usage 90% है 17वीं लोकसभा में जो 2019-2024 बीच में हुआ था and 99% राज्यसभा and historically more actively used for the executive accountability. Consensus in lawmaking, the decline in the government opposition collaboration. A stronger consensus tradition, early joint sitting used 3 times since 1915. Next, special intensive revision of the electoral rolls. Recently, the Supreme Court began reviewing the Election Commission of India ECI Special Intensive Revision SIR. Special Intensive Revision SIR. In Bihar, we suggested accepting the Aadhaar, voter ID and ration cards for voter registration. सर का मतलब यह है कि स्पेशल इंटेंसिव रिवीजन SIR under the representation of Act People Act RPA 1950 में आया था ठीक है involves both level officer BLOs booth level officer BLOs कहा जाता है verifying voter rolls house to allow the addition deletion and correction allow क्या है addition deletion and correction. The last SIR in Bihar was in 2003. The revision process involves all the electors and born before the July 197 they must be provided proof their date of place of birth. For those born between the July 1997 and December 2, 2004, proof from the present parents is required. Electors and born after December 2 and 2004 need proof from the both parents. This categorization aligned with the Citizenship Act 1955. हम इसमें बता दिए हैं कि इसमें बस केवल रिवीजन अपना रीडिंग करना. देखिए हम अपना रीडिंग कर रहे हैं. बाकी कितने लोग रीडिंग कर रहे हैं, अपना पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं, बताइए हमको जल्दी से कमेंट करिए कौन कौन कर रहा है. देखिए आज के जमाने में जो सही बातें है ना किया जाता नहीं, अगर वही चीज या रील्स उसमें था चाहे अन्य चीज में तो भी सब कमेंट मिले. क्रिकेट मैच चल रहा है ना, अभी बहुत सारे कमेंट मिलेंगे. Section 21 of the RPA 950 empowers ECI to revive the rules at any time. Section 60 of exclude non-citizens will. The Section 19 includes the eligible for the local residence. Article 324 of the Constitution grant ECI full control over the election. 324. Constitution grant the ECI full control over the elections. In Mohinder Singh Gill versus CEC 1977, the Supreme Court affirmed ECI independent powers, stating judicial review is the limiting during the election process. Article 329B, unless specified by Article 327 or 328. SIR uphold democratic integrity by ensuring accurate voter list, increasing the inclusion and the participation, and preparing for future reforms like the remote voting. Example, Bihar SECBHR app with the blockchain and the biometrics. Challenges includes risk the disenfranchisement and among poor and migrant population. NRC like the fears due to the document requirement and limited public awareness and accessibility. Maharashtra next. Maharashtra rollback of Hindi as a third language. ठीक है. Recently, Maharashtra government withdrew its decision to make Hindi a compulsory third language in classes 1 to 5 for Marathi. English medium school appointed a committee led by Dr. Narendra Jadhav to review this. There the language formula. NEP 2020 recommend the mother tongue as a regional language, the medium of instruction until the grades 5, idealist grades 8, and promote the flexible 3-language formula with the 3-language formula. Without enforcing the Hindi, encouraging classical and foreign languages like the Tamil, Kannada, and French and Korean. Education is on the concurrent list, and education is on the concurrent list. Mandating Hindi without state consultation violates federalism. Tamil Nadu, with its 2-language policies and Tamil plus English, has consistently opposed such a move since the 1968 is influenced in 2019. NEP dropped rollbacks. Maharashtra withdrawal policy misread the NEP 2020, which emphasizes 2 Indian languages, R1 plus R2, and early on the compulsory Hindi as a raised concern about suppressing tribal minorities language. And it's lacking the qualified rural language teachers. Next, isme. Well, the 3 languages, a policy boosts a cognitive development, national unity, and employment. It is the faces criticism over the student overload, politizations, and failed rollouts, and Tamil in the Tamil in Haryana due to low demand and planning issues. अभी कितना हो गया? 33 मिनट में पढ़ चुका हूं अपना. अभी इसमें कौन कौन अपना पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं बताएं थोड़ा कमेंट करके. अभी हमको ज्यादा पढ़ना है इसमें, क्योंकि मेरा करंट अफेयर्स जो अभी मैं ज्यादा पढ़ा नहीं हूँ. ठीक है, अभी मैं कम से कम 1 घंटा रीडिंग तो करना ही है इसमें. अभी आपका इसमें मेरा बता दे, तभी तो मेरा इतना हुआ. मैं देख लूँ, टिक लगा लूँ. ज्यादा है चैप्टर बड़ा, क्योंकि पढ़ना भी तो जरूरी है. ना पढ़े हुए कुछ तो नहीं हो रहा. इसमें ज्यादा पेज है अभी. देखिए कहाँ तक पढ़ लेते अभी. द 4 members nominated to Rajya Sabha, 4 members nominated to Rajya Sabha. Recently, the President of India nominated 4 individuals to Rajya Sabha under the Article 18. ये से याद रखना है. Under the Article 80 में of the Constitution of India, which permits the nomination of 12 members. ठीक है, for distinguish the contribution in the literature, science, art, and social service. Absolutely right. Harshvardhan Shringla, a 1984 batch Indian Foreign Service IPS officer, former Foreign Secretary, played a key diplomatic roles, including organizing the Howdy Modi 2019 event and coordinating India as a G20 President 2023. Ujjwal Nikam, a renowned special public prosecutor, a note for the legal experience and involvement in landmark cases like the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, 1993, the Bombay blast, and is a Kharanji massacres. Meenakshi Jain, historian and former University of the Delhi professor, authored NCERT history textbook, received and the Padam Shri 2020, and contributed to the institution like ICHR, Indian Council of Historical Research, ICSSR, Indian Council of Social Science Research. Next is C. Sadanandan Master, a teacher turned social activist from Kerala. Sure. Survived in 1994, the political attacks continue. In the work is a grassroots activism and public service despite being the permanently disabled. अब सेकेंड टॉपिक इज द इकोनॉमिक सिनेरियो. अभी जो भी हम पढ़ रहे थे इसमें पॉलिटिकल सिनेरियो था. हम लोग मैं 2-3 पेज पढ़ लिया हूँ अपना. ठीक है, देख रहे ना, इंटरनेशनल एंड पॉलिटिकल एंड गवर्नेंस के बारे में पढ़ा था. इकोनॉमिक सिनेरियो के एम्प्लॉयमेंट लिंक द इंसेंटिव स्कीम्स. Recently, the Union Cabinet approved that employment-linked incentive (ELI) इसे याद रखेंगे, schemes under the Union Budget 2024 to 2025, a part of 2 lakh crore youth employment package. Sure. At a target 1.92 crore first-time employees registered with the employees and provide a provident fund organization EPFO. Offering for the month APF wage month is 50,000 in 2 installment, with the second link to the financial literacy program and savings account creation. Part B support the employers hiring new workers earning up to 1 lakh per month, offering 3,000 per month for employees for the 2 years, provided there is a recruit per minimum 2.2 to 5 new staffs based in the firm size and retain them to all the list 6 months. The scheme aims to create the 2.6 crore jobs and focusing primarily on the manufacturing sectors and fostering job creation and formalizations. Payment mechanism include the direct benefit transfer DBT to employee by the Aadhaar bridges and payment system, and to employees through the permanent account number PAN linked in bank accounts. 8 years of GST. Next topic is 8 years of GST. Recently, the goods and service tax GST marked its major achievements since in July 1, 2017 rolled out under that 101 Constitutional Amendment Act 2016, promoting tax integration and digital compliance. Revenue collection has recorded 22.08 lakhs crore in 5-year plans 2024 to 2025, with average monthly GST receipt of that 1.8 lakhs crores, indicating the improved compliance, lower evasion, and economic formalizations. The system has gone fully digital, featuring an invoicing, automated return, filling in real-time credit machines, helping MSME access credit and streamline operations. Active GST resignation rose 1.5 crores by April 2025 and 65 lakhs in 2017, reflecting the expansion of the formal tax base, strong and taxpayers onboarding. GST enhances the ease of doing business by removing interstate barriers, reducing logistic costs, and enabling input tax credit ITC, and expanding 1.18 lakhs crore and automated ICE GST refund through the ICE Gate portal in 5-year plan 2025. Niti Aayog report on the chemical industry. Niti Aayog released the report titled Chemical Industry Powering India's Participation in Global Value Chains, lying on the roadmap for India to emerge as a major global chemical and manufacturing hubs. The target is to attain a 12% share in the global chemical value chains, GVC, and $1 trillion in the output by 2015. Policy recommendation by Niti Aayog chemical hubs form as the Empower Committee and create the undedicated funds of the shared infrastructure and viability gap funding VGF. Port infrastructure established and a chemical committee for ports and development, 8 key coastal chemicals cluster for the logistics and exports. OPEC subsidy schemes, subsidy based on import substitution, export potential dependency risk, and market critically. Technology access increase the R&D, investment by industrial, academia, collaboration, and MNC partnership to close technology gaps. Faster clearance audit committee under the DPIIT to streamline movement and clearance. Free trade agreement FTAs negotiate FTA with that tariff quotas, duty exemption, and promote awareness and routine use of FTA producers. Skilling expand at its IITs and training institutes and integrate course in polymer science and petrochemical industrial sector. Gini index. Recently, India's Gini index improved from 28.8 2011 to 2012 and 21 to 25.5 22 to 23, placing it as the fourth most equal nation globally ahead of US, UK, and China. Extreme poverty declined sharply, with those living under the USD 2.15 per day falling from the 16.2% to 2.3%, lifting the 171 million people out of poverty. This progress and align with that scheme like the PM Jan Dhan Yojana, direct benefit transfer, and Stand Up India, which boosted financial inclusion and welfare delivery. India is now among the 30 countries with its moderately low inequality, reflecting its support to balance economic growth and social equity. The shift has resulted in improved access to food, healthcare, jobs, and banking, indicating rising and standard and inclusive development. Catastrophe bonds or natural disaster. Recently, the catastrophe bond, CATS bonds, had gained traction as of disaster risk financing tools and rising the climate-induced disasters. CAT bonds transfer natural disaster risk as earthquakes, floods, cyclones from government or insurer to the private sectors and investors through the global capital markets. These bonds offer high interest return portfolio, diversification, and multi-year disaster coverage, making them attractive to investors and useful for the government resilience planning. Since the late 1990s, over USD 180 billion is CAT bonds over the issued globally, with USD $15 billion currently active in markets. Their low correct correlation and traditional markets and ability to fund disaster relief without straining public finances make them the crucial for the climate adaptation efforts. Next topic is the third edition of Trade Water Quarterly. Recently, Niti Aayog released the quarterly third and 2024 5 trade is the vast reports analyzing the India's merchandise and the service trade from October-December 2024. Merchandise export grew 3% year on the year to the United States dollar and 108.7 trillion, while the imports rose 6.5 to US dollar at 187.5 billion, indicating the widening trade gaps. India's service trade surplus stayed of US dollar and 52.3 billion, driven by the 70% in the service exports, reflecting global demand for Indian digital and the professional service. India's service trade surplus export diversification include a 200% surge in high-tech goods for like the aircraft parts and notable goods. In the electoral machinery and arms, with this is the sector posting 10.6% compound annual growth rate. CAGR means compound annual growth rate since 2014. India ranked 5th the globally industrially delivered service GDS export in 2024, totaling US $269 billion, while the shipping United States trade policy enhance the India export as in the pharmaceuticals and textile and electrical goods. And 45 minutes video to be made of international relations. Securing the Indian Ocean regions, securing the Indian Oceans regions, OIORs. Report by the Parliament Standing Committee, External Affairs warns that increasing involvement external powers, especially China, deepening strategic presence, pose serious challenges to India in that IOR. China expanding the military presence in string of pearls. Sure. Economic leverage through the debt trap diplomacy. BRI surveillance capabilities, military base in the Djibouti, and the geopolitics influence in the neighboring states undermine India energy security trade routes and diplomatic understandings. Standing amid that is nuclear deterrence. Despite these risks, IOR is better India's strategic, economic, and geopolitical interests, handling 80% of goods and 90% of energy imports, will the surviving a key arena for the regional leadership and maritime security, disaster response, and deep sea resource and exploration. The safeguard its interests and the counter China influence, India must adopt a multi-pronged approach, strengthening naval capabilities, modernizing defense infrastructure, especially in the Andaman War, promoting strategic and ports and alternative trade and corridors like the IMEC, and depending and part with Quad ASEAN France, and expanding maritime surveillance through the satellites and AI, and leveraging the soft power by cultural diplomacy and humanitarian aids. India Trinidad and Tobago relationships. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Trinidad and Tobago, making the first such visit since 1999. Received the Order of the Republic of the Trinidad and Tobago, the nation's highest civilian hours. The visit depends ties through the TNT, the membership in the Coalition for Disaster Resilience Infrastructure (CDRI) and Global Biofuel Alliance (GBA), and by the Quick Impact Projects (QIBS) worth of the United States US dollar 50,000 each. Agreement include the affordable Indian generic drugs, access to training and TT and WP diplomats in India, and digital cooperation using the India's tracks tools like Unified Payment Interface UPI, DigiLockers, and the Sign at the Caribbean First. India extended overseas the citizenship of India OCI eligibility of sixth generation of Indian origin citizens, and re-established Indian Council for the Cultural Relation ICCR's Hindi chairs in the regional universities. India Caribbean communities that correspond with there is a reaffirmed with support by US dollar 14 millions in grants, US dollar 150 million lines of credit for green projects, and the emphasizing and cooperations in agricultural, trade and culture, ocean, and climate resilience. Quad at Sea as a ship observer missions, the Coast Guards of the Quad members have launched the first maritime initiative its kind of the Quad at the Ship Sea Observer Mission, a part of the Wilmington's Declare 2024 during the 6th Quad Summit, fourth in person held in the Delaware, USA. Aims enhancing the interoperability and maritime domain awareness (MDA) in operational coordination and mission goals, conduct joint training in SOPs, patrolling and search and rescues SAR, and advance the maritime diplomacy, promote gender inclusion, and align with the India Sagar Vision, Mahasagar Doctrine, and Indo-Pacific Ocean Initiative (IPA). Wellington declares 2024 and a present unified vision for free, open, inclusive rules based on the Indo-Pacific outcomes group. Launch a Quad of the Sea Ship Observer Mission and Maitri to boost the interoperability and MDA. Introduction of Quad districts network and sports on the future partnership, expansion for fellowships and 22 plus experts, a training of the supply chains and the semiconductor collaboration, and cybersecurity via the quadrilateral information sharing digital queen. Launch of the Q-Champ and Quad Climate Change Adaptation Mitigation Package. Promotion of Earth observation for disaster relief and expansion of Quad and following the science and policy leaderships. India, Namibia relations and Africa. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Namibia, and he received the first Indian PM to visit 27 years, received the nation's highest civilian honors in order of the most Welwitschia Marvellis. Namibia joined and led to the initiative, the Collaboration of Disaster Resilient Infrastructure (CDRI) and the Global Biofuels Alliance (GBA). That became the first country globally to license India's Unified Payment Interface (UPI). 51 मिनट का वीडियो हो चुका है इसमें. The key cooperation includes the Cheetah Translocation Project 2022, scholarships and defense training via the Indian Technical Economic Cooperation ITEC India Namibia Center for Excellence in the INSET. Bilateral trade research reached the unified state dollar USD dollar 568.4 million 2024-5. India is negotiating and a preferential trade agreement PTA with that Southern African Custom Union SACU. Southern African Custom Unions. India's wider Africa engagement includes the support for the African Union G20 membership 2023-2024 pursuit of critical minerals and energy ties and strategic alliances, multilateral forums, and counterbalance Chinese influence. Russia became the first country to recognize the Taliban government. In July 2025, Russia became the first country to officially recognize the Taliban government in Afghanistan since the Taliban took control in 2021 following the removal of the group from the list of the banned organization. Strategic and geopolitical objectives. So this is the development could be expanded Russia's Afghanistan economic ties, trade, energy, and agriculture and infrastructure, reinforce Russia's strategic position in Central and the South Asia and influence broader global diplomatic approach to the Taliban. However, Afghanistan remains plagued by the humanitarian issues, including the severe droughts in the north that have led to the agricultural collapse. International concern persists over the Taliban's policies, especially regarding the women's rights. Russia's decision sparks critics and human rights group and Afghan women activists who has argued that is a group of Afghan women activists and the government known for oppressive policy. Western nation countries continue to withhold recognition due to this violation, underscoring that is a tension between strategic interests and human rights. US led resistance front is global terrorist. Recently, the United States resigned, designated the Resistance Front (TRF) and Foreign Terrorist Organization (FTO), and especially designed a global terrorist and marking significant steps to counter terrorism cooperation with India. India launched Operation Sindoor 2025 to pursue a global diplomatic push after the Pahalgam terror attack, urging the United Nations Security Council (NSC) to name TRF through the UNSC and issue the general condemnation. TRF formed in 2019 and post article abrogation. It is the Pakistan-backed terrorist group operating mainly in the Jammu and Kashmir, widely considered a proxy and Lashkar-e-Taiba LT. Its branding as a local Kashmiri group was intended to defect the international scrutiny, especially from that is Financial Action Task Force (FATF) during the time when the Pakistan was FATF grey list. In 2023, India has officially and proscribed TRF under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act UAPA 1967, highlighting its role as a reviving military and facilitating cross-border terrorism. Next time is further study the science and technology. Science and technology, history, art and cultures, geography and environment, current affairs, miscellaneous, and the topic is India, indeed. And that in 10 years of digital India, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Krishi Yojana, many yojanaएं to be studied here. And प्रकाश रस, तो हमको लगता है नहीं है कि बस 2 ही लोग जुड़े हुए, कौन-कौन जुड़े थे अंत में, तो मेंशन कर दें अपना नाम, बाकी तो कोई बात नहीं है। तो इसको हम अभी साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी के जो चैप्टर इसमें कल पढ़ेंगे, अपना रीडिंग करेंगे, क्योंकि इतना ज़्यादा हो गया, बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया। डेली इतना ही पढ़ा जाए, 10, 2, 4, 5 पेज, तो सबसे जिसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमको तैयार हो गया। तो चलिए बिना देरी किए हुए हम लोग इस स्टेप को ख़त्म कर देते हैं। मिलेंगे अगली बार जो है। थैंक यू वेरी मच।